Morning everyone. I'm going to do a little video today about feeling out of control. Very apt topic at the minute. I'm sure many of you are feeling out of control with the current situation, and I'm not going to lie, these past few days I felt quite out of control, very overwhelmed with everything. So yesterday I had a bit of a check-in with myself, decided to think about what is it that's changed? Why am I feeling like this? And more importantly, what can I do to try and overcome some of those feelings, and to make myself feel a little bit better and more in control? So obviously we find ourselves in very difficult times at the minute. It's quite normal for us to feel out of control. We don't know what's happening in the world. We don't know exactly where things are going. But we need to try and make sure that we keep some routine and structure to our lives, to try and help with some of that. So I'm just going to talk you through a little bit about my experiences and what we can do to try and help ourselves, as I say, to feel a bit better. So yesterday I was having a bit of a think about where things are up to for me and realised that the last few days I've just let everything get on top of me. I've felt very overwhelmed by everything. So I've just felt like I've had a million and one things I've needed to do, and instead of working through them in a logical manner because I felt overwhelmed, I've just ignored them all, and all that's been going around in my head. Not necessarily massive things either, just everyday things. So things like the washing. I've got the children at home and they're constantly changing the clothes, so the wash basket's overflowing. I've got two kittens, you can maybe see one on my knee here, constantly into everything, knocking things over every 2 minutes. Their stuff needs cleaning out, they need injections, they need to go to the vets for worming, tablets. I've got shoes everywhere and the shoe cupboard needs sorting out. The clothes stand has got clothes on it. The coat stand has got coats on it from the children when they were kind of 2-3 years old. They're now 10 and 11, so that really needs sorting out, and you can't fit another coat on it. Nearly knocks you out as you walk through the door. I'm aware that in terms of my finances, there's some things that I need to sort out. I need to contact the bank. There's some things that I need to pay off. I need to transfer some money. I keep getting text messages from school that I owe school dinner money. I need to strip the beds and tidy the house. Every room is just an absolute mess at the minute. My front room's been turned into a gym, so I've got a running machine and an exercise bike in there, steps so that I can do gym classes and keep up with my exercise. But that's been stressing me out because everything is upside down. I've got kids' bikes in the house, and as I say, just all these things have built up and made me feel quite overwhelmed. And as a result of that, I've just, as we do, kind of got out of my routine and my structure because all that's been going around in my mind. I've just ignored it really and decided not to do anything. So although the washing's been building up, for example, instead of just doing one wash a day and trying to break it down, because I felt overwhelmed by it, I've just not bothered, and the wash basket has just been getting bigger and bigger. So having had my check-in with myself yesterday, I decided, right, today is the day. So what I decided to do was set my alarm, because that's another thing that's gone out of the window. Because I'm at home, I've decided not to set my alarm, just get up whenever we wake up. And I've been slobbing around, I'll admit, not been getting dressed, either just hanging around in my pyjamas because we've got nowhere to go. What's the point in getting ready? Or just putting my comfies on. So slobbing around in my loungewear, not making an effort to do my hair or anything like that, or make an effort that, as we know, really does make us feel better. So that's not been ideal. So the past few days, I've kind of just been living in my pyjamas, slobbing around and not making an effort, which hasn't helped me to feel better. And obviously everything else has just been building up. So what I decided was last night I was going to go to bed. This morning I'm going to set my alarm as I would any other day. Just because I'm at home and these are unusual circumstances doesn't mean that everything should change. I really need my routine and my structure, and as most of us do. So that's one thing that I would say. If you've got into that rut like I have, and it's easy to do, but you can get out of it, what we need as humans is our routine and structure. So I would encourage you to set your alarm, get up at the time you would normally do, and then do something, if you can do, just to get yourself moving. As you all know, or those that know me will know, that I am a very active person. I do need a lot of exercise in my life to keep me going. So I decided I was going to go for a run this morning because I know that sets me off and puts me in a good headspace. So I set my alarm this morning, 6:30, the time that I would usually get up, and I literally rolled out of bed, got myself ready, and went on my run. Now, it wasn't a massive run, I just did 4 miles. That's a small run for me, but it made me feel so much better. So just being out in the fresh air, it was a really nice, mild morning. Didn't put my earphones in or anything like that, something that I've been doing quite a lot recently. But I just decided to get out there, just enjoy the fresh air, and just run really. And I tried to be really mindful, which again is something that I struggle with because my mind is always running at 100 miles an hour. But I decided this morning to try and slow down and just to be mindful and to look around me and to take notice of what was going on and to listen to what was going on. And it was surprising actually what I took in. I took in really bizarre things and things that are not really interesting, such as the different textures of the pavements and the road surfaces, and also looking at people's houses as I went past as well. I was quite fascinated by the different types of houses. Again, that usually things just pass me by and I don't notice those things. And also, again, something that I've noticed a lot of other people have commented on, but it was very obvious this morning. There were lots of birds outside. I could hear lots of tweeting, and that was really nice just to listen to as I was running. And I went up through the hills and near the trees as well. So again, just try to be mindful, take all that in. So a couple of horses, a few squirrels. Again, things that I just don't really notice. So I actually really enjoyed that run. Got my endorphins going, and I came back feeling really fresh and ready to fight the day ahead. So I then had a shower, decided I was going to actually get dressed. So as you can see today, I've got dressed, I've put some clothes on, tried to make a little bit of an effort. I've not done my hair, not going to lie, there's no point. My hair is a nightmare. It takes about an hour to dry, so as I'm not really going to be leaving the house too much today, and I'm going to be doing more exercise later, that's built into my plan for today. So given that, I thought I'll just put my hair into 2 little French plaits. So keeps it nice and tidy, out of my way, but at least I've done something with it. Put a little bit of makeup on. Again, those that know me, I don't wear a lot of makeup anyway, but these last few days I've literally not been doing anything, as I say, just slobbing around. So after going for my run, having a shower, getting myself ready, I feel great. I'm set up and I'm ready for the day. I've had my breakfast, so back into that routine. Again, I totally got out of that. Kids tend to have toast, crumpets, all that kind of stuff. I'm quite strict with my diet. I like to eat healthy. Would always just have Greek yogurt with fruit. That's my standard breakfast every morning. But because the kids have been at home, I've just been making big plates of toast and diving into their toast, which again is no good for me. I know that all those carbohydrates don't make me feel better. So today I've had my yogurt and fruit, and I've got my coffee here. So super mum, not quite feeling like super mum at the minute, but we'll get back there. So yeah, I've had my yogurt and my fruit, having my brew, and I'm sat at the table. I've got my computer out and I'm all set up for the day. So my advice would be just think about routine and structure. Just because you're at home and these are very unusual circumstances, please don't let your routine go out of the window too much. It's really important to us as human beings to have some sort of routine. Of course, we need to give ourselves flexibility and allow for that, but we do really need some routine and structure. So just think about those little things. Go to bed at a time you would normally go to bed. Again, I've been staying up late, just faffing around and doing things that I don't need to do. If I was in work, I wouldn't be doing that. So why am I doing that? I am working from home. I have got a job to do. So I'm going to start going to bed, getting myself back into that routine. As I say, set yourself an alarm, get up at a reasonable time in the morning, do whatever you can do then to get yourself motivated to get going, whether it's a bit of exercise, go for a walk, get a bit of fresh air while we can still go out. and we're told that, you know, we are able to exercise, do get out and take advantage of that. Even if you just go for a little walk, that really will help to get the endorphins going and mentally put you in a better place to fight the day ahead. So I would really encourage you to think about that. And the other thing that I've been thinking about is what's kind of important is making sure that we have a plan for after this pandemic is over, really. And it's an opportunity for you to think about maybe reevaluating some of your goals in life. So every year, I always, at the beginning of the year, think about what are my goals for that year and what is it that I want to achieve. And I always do what we call a vision board. And basically, it's just a piece of paper that you can get, and it's really therapeutic as well, actually. But you just think about what it is that you want to achieve for that year ahead. What would you like your life to be like? And it can be quite loose, so we're not talking about it being really rigid at this point. But just think about your life after this coronavirus pandemic. What is it that is important to you? Is there anything you want to do different? So that you can put it all together and then maybe stick it on a fridge or something like that. And that's what I'm going to do. So that at times when you might be feeling a bit overwhelmed, you can remind yourselves that we will get through this. And afterwards, you've got a bit of a plan and a bit of an idea about what it is that you want to do. And then if you're having a bad day, if you feel like you're struggling, you can always just go and have a look then on your fridge and just remind yourself that we are going to get through this. And once we do get through this, these are the things that I want to do in my life. So I've had a go at starting mine this morning, and I actually really enjoy it because it's great fun as well. And it's an activity you can get the children to join in. So here's mine. Don't know if you can see it very well on there. And as I say, you can be quite flexible with it. I get carried away with things like this. I love a good project. I'm going to get the children involved, so they're going to do theirs later. And I'm going to stick another piece of card so it makes it a bit bigger. But I just started off by putting in the middle my life post-coronavirus. And then outside of it, I've got all the different things that I want to start thinking about, and the things that over the past few weeks it's made me think that I might want to do differently, as I say, or that I might want to continue. So in the corner here it says learn a new skill. So again, I was thinking about this and thinking that my life is very routine at the minute. I've not learned anything new for a very long time. I've not studied or done anything like that since I did my master's course a long time ago. So I'm not exactly sure what it is I want to do, hence the question mark. I need to give that a bit more thought. But it's definitely something that I do want to do. So whether that's learning, I don't know, a course in a certain subject or something more practical, I actually really don't know. But again, as human beings, I think it's really good for us to think about how we can challenge ourselves and how we can stretch ourselves. So in order to be mentally well, we need to make sure that we have challenges in our lives and that things don't just become mundane. So I'm really keen to think about what it is that I can do. So as I say, the question mark's there because I actually don't know at the minute. I've got no idea. But once all this is over and we've come out the other side, I do want to think about learning a new skill. Again, something here, it's made me realise these past few days, I need to slow down. People always tell me that. As I've said, I am very busy. If I'm not working or doing something with the children or sorting things at home, I tend to use my time to either go running or to go to the gym, which is great. Those things are wonderful for me, and I know they do really help me. But I need to think about how I can slow down a little bit. I need to learn to be able to switch my mind off and physically slow down as well. So as I say, when I go to the gym or when I'm running, that is my time when my mind does kind of slow down, I suppose, because I focus on those activities as much as I can when I'm engaged in them. But physically, obviously, I'm not slowing down at those times, and I find it really difficult to switch off. I'm not very good at meditating or being mindful unless somebody's guided me through an activity. I find it really difficult. So if I try to do any sort of like mindfulness activity myself, I'll just find that my mind wanders and I start to go back to what we're having for tea, and I need to do this for the kids and I need to do that, and I just totally get distracted. So for me to slow down and to protect my mental well-being in that way, I know that I need to do something where somebody is guiding me through. So I've always been interested in yoga and really wanted to do it, but never really got into it or looked into it. So again, once this is all over, I'm going to look into finding myself a yoga class and give that a go and see if that's something that helps me just to slow down. And then there's other things on here that I've put, like spending more time with family. I think times like this make you realise that perhaps you don't spend as much time with family. I think when you're prevented from going out and seeing people, it makes you realise that just how important that is. So I'm going to try to spend a bit more time with family. I'm going to have a treat night once a week. Again, not very good at treating myself. I know we all talk about we've got to look after ourselves, but I do tend to put everybody first. So after this, I'm going to make an effort to have a treat night once a week, and there's some ideas there about what that might be. It might just be that I have a pamper night, might buy myself a face mask and a hair mask and just try and switch off and do those activities. It might be that I spend more time with friends, going to the cinema or to the theatre, things that I don't really do at the minute. So lots of things there, and over here obviously keeping fit and well, that's something that I still want to do. And then I just found some words, so like stressed and struggling, they're definitely not things that I aspire to or want to do, so put them on, but I've stuck a big fat cross through them because they're things that we're definitely not looking to be post the coronavirus pandemic. So as I say, I need to balance this out with lots of kind of more positive affirmations, positive words to keep me focused, and carry on with the activity really. Think about more things that I need to do. And then I will stick it on the fridge. And as I say, these are things that you can do with the children. And actually it's a really fun activity and it is quite therapeutic in itself. Like I've said, I'm not very good at being mindful unless I've got somebody guiding me through it. But just sitting here this morning and starting that activity, having some magazines and some papers and getting my scissors out and cutting through things, looking for words, being focused. But it's a nice activity, getting the pens out, doing a bit of colouring. I really enjoyed it, so I'm going to carry on doing that and encourage the children to do it, and then we're all going to stick our vision boards on the fridge so that we've all got a bit of an idea about what it is that we want to do and to focus on. And so that we can kind of reevaluate our goals once this whole thing is over. So that's something that I would encourage you to do. So have a go at doing a vision board, and then send us your pictures, and we can share those, because as we all know, our college ethos is all about supporting each other and sharing. So I'm being open and honest here. I might be considered an expert in the field of mental health, but we're all in this together. We're all human, and the best way to help each other is to share, to be open, and everybody else is experiencing this right now, so we're all experts together, so let's share and support each other. And just before I go, the other thing that I just want to touch on, as I said before, was that I was feeling quite overwhelmed with everything that I've got to do. So what I've decided to do today is to do a little things to do list. So again, you can see it there, you don't need to read it in too much detail, but it's got all those things that I was saying before about that I need to do that have been going through my mind. So like sorting out my money, sorting out activities for children, paying school meals, ringing the vets, stripping the beds, doing the washing, sorting out the loft, scheduling Zoom, which are like online calls for those of you who aren't aware, with the grandparents, with friends, all sorts of things I've got to do that has literally just been going through my mind. And it's almost like I describe it to people as a washing machine. It's like all these things are in the washing machine and they just keep going round and round and round. But because they've been in there and I felt so overwhelmed by that, I've just left them to carry on going round and round. And what I actually need to do now is to pull them out one by one, work through them, fold them up and put them away. So that's what I'm going to do. So my first job this morning was to write down all those things that are going through my mind. So I literally pulled them out like you would pull your washing out of your washing machine, remove them from my mind and wrote them down onto this list. So now I've got a big list of everything that I need to do. But that in itself, again, felt quite therapeutic. So although I've got a long list here, it's no longer just swishing around in my mind. I feel better having seen it in front of me. And then what I'm going to do each day is to set myself a goal list. So I'm going to set myself a little bit of a schedule for each day. So going through this long list of things to do, which I can add to as I think of new things, which of course I will do. But every day then I'm going to set myself a little goal sheet. I'm not going to be too rigid or too strict with it because, again, these are difficult times. I'm trying to work from home. I'm trying to homeschool the children. Everything else that's going on, it's really difficult. But we do, as I said before, need some routine and some structure and some direction in our day. So every day I'm just going to set myself a few things that I need to do. And then the important thing is getting that balance between things that you need to do, but then also having a little bit of pleasure time as well. So today, for example, I'm going to choose a few activities that I need to do. Like I've put a wash load in this morning, so that's a tick off there, one of the things that I've done, which again I haven't done for the past few days because I've been feeling overwhelmed by it. But just break it down and do one wash a day. That's going to be my goal for this week. I'm going to do a wash a day. And in terms of tidying up, I'm going to have a quick tidy around the house, but I'm going to focus on one room a day. So I'm going to do my daughter's bedroom today because it is a nightmare. She is a nightmare. She's at that age where she messes around with makeup, with hair, with clothes, with everything. She's got guinea pigs in her bedroom, so we've got hay and sawdust flying around everywhere. It's just an absolute mess. She's got cups and saucers in there under her bed, all sorts of just rubbish really. But my son's room is pretty much the same as well. And then the bathroom's a mess, and again everything just feels like it's a mess. So my goal for today in terms of that is to do my daughter's bedroom, and then tomorrow I'll tackle another bedroom, and then hopefully by the end of the week I might have a somewhat tidy house. And I know it'll get messed up again, but again it's just trying to relax some of those expectations and the pressure that we might put on ourselves, but instead of feeling overwhelmed by it, just breaking it down and trying to do bit by bit. Even though it will get messy again, at least I'll feel better because I'm tackling it, and one room at a time it will be a little bit tidier. So there are things that I'm going to do today. Of course, I've got to do some work. I've had lots of people contacting me about how they're struggling with their mental health, and I've promised to get back to them. So that's one of my priorities today, is to work through some self-help materials and send those out to people. And then the other things that I want to do are some exercise. So as you will have seen in my other video, Astley Sports Village are doing lots of online classes at the moment. So again, I like to get the children involved in those. So later on, they'll be doing a class at 3 o'clock and a class at 7:30. So myself and my children will be joining in with that. And again, they're pleasurable activities for me. And that's what's important in all of this. Don't get overwhelmed and feel that you need to fill your day with activities that are just mundane and routine. We need to make sure that we have some pleasure in our lives. So it's all about balance. So they're going to be my pleasurable activities. And also I'm going to cook a nice meal tonight with the children. I'm going to do some baking as well, because that's something that they like to do. And again, as I've said to you before, food and eating is one of my life pleasures, but I like to eat quite healthy. But again, all that's just gone out of the window recently. I've not really known when it's meal times. I've been going to the fridge, and it's easy when you're at home just snacking. But today I'm going to get in my routine. I've got a bit of a plan about what it is that we're going to eat for lunch and for dinner. And as I say, I'm going to get the children involved in that. We're going to do a bit of cooking together, and then hopefully we will all feel a bit better. So I hope that's been helpful. I feel loads better anyway, just as I say, getting up this morning, setting my alarm, going for that run, having a shower, getting myself dressed, putting some normal clothes on instead of just slobbing around, making myself feel a little bit better, setting myself up at the table, removing all those things that are going around in my head onto a piece of paper and starting to think about a plan for myself. for the day ahead. I feel loads better already. So I'm going to go now and get stuck back into that. And as I would say, I would encourage you to yourselves think about routine and structure. As I say, it's absolutely normal to feel overwhelmed and out of control at the minute, but we can do things to try and get some of that control back. As human beings, we really need routine and structure. So just think about what might have changed for you in these last couple of weeks and how you can get back some of that structure to your day, because that really will help you. Have a go at doing a vision board. I'd be really interested to see people's finished articles. I'll share mine once I've finished it, going to work through it. So if anybody else manages to do that activity, finds it helpful, just post below this video. All right, guys, and if you've got any questions, remember that we're here, so just send a message to the college email or give us a phone call on the normal phone number 0161 716 2666. There's somebody there between the hours of 10 and 4, and we're here to ask any questions. All right, thanks, guys. Have a good day. Bye.